we've got a lot of stuff that we talk about with how compensation flows into and around athletes. And I understand today you wrote about a mascot getting an NIL deal, which is not generally the world that we think about. Can you tell me a little bit more? Mascots, plural. Please.
Uh,
The floor is yours.
Yeah. So, I mean, there've been four, although one of them was a weird kind of pseudo deal, I guess you could say. But I mean, Syracuse recently, signed this Otto the Orange deal with the NIL store where they're selling various shirts with Otto emblazoned on there. And it's been, they gave me the sales figures. It's been incredibly successful. The money goes to supporting the mascot program at Syracuse, which is way more expensive than I would ever imagine. I mean, we're talking
real quick. I'm going to interrupt you. Kyle, how much is an Otto the Orange mascot costume?
Yeah, $10,000 to $15,000 a year for an Otto the Orange costume. I mean, just a mind-boggling expense.
It's an orange.
Yes. That only Otto gets the finest fuzz for his costume. But yeah, I mean, it's been successful. Bucknell was the first school to do it. They also they have a jersey patch service, First Federal Credit Union in Central/Eastern Pennsylvania. Signed the deal with Bucknell a few years ago, and they have renewed that deal. So they're the first one to actually have a renewed NIL deal for a mascot. And theirs is unique in the fact that they pay the person wearing Bucky the Bison $250 per appearance. So it's just a cool way for these mascots who, I mean, they put in a ton of work. I know it sounds absurd, but like in some cases they work just as hard as the athletes. I mean, they're going to practices and they're performing for, 4 hours or whatever on game day. And they're tired and hot and sweaty after a game too, just like the players are. You have to be in pretty peak physical shape to be a cheerleader, be a mascot. So it's interesting, but I think Syracuse has been incredibly successful in like this 1 week of their sales. But I mean, Brutus the Buckeye and Sparty and some of these mascots are just some of the most recognizable figures in all of college sports, I would say. Albert the Alligator, those types of things. Like, is this a path for the future? Syracuse told me they had more than like 15 athletic departments. They had a big Zoom last week about, how did you guys do this? What were kind of the steps taken? That was another thing I learned. Like, apparently the mascot world is like a huge brotherhood and sisterhood. And they all kind of are in it together. Maryland actually sent people to Syracuse to meet with them about it. Really? So there's obviously extreme interest from other schools. And it makes sense. I mean, who doesn't love mascots? I mean, they're kid friendly. They're kind of like family members, like I wrote. And I mean, when you say you grow up in, Wisconsin and your whole family went to Wisconsin, like Bucky the Badger is almost like a family member to you and kind of spans generations. Probably not going to end up in the police blotter. So I think it makes smart.
Wisconsin, I don't know.
Well, that's true. That's true. I think smart, practical business sense to be involved with a mascot, and I think that you'll see more of these deals in the future.
Did you get an idea, like ballpark, for what it costs to be the presenting sponsor of Bucky the Bison at a Patriot League school?
Like a few $1,000s a year. It's nothing big, yeah.
So let me ask you this, and I'm interested for anybody here in the chat. Which mascot should we try to sponsor? Who should we try to get to be the presented by Extra Points mascot? Because if it's not six figures, maybe that's in the budget. The Western Kentucky feels like spiritually a pretty Extra Points mascot, but big.
I know their AD well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, same.
You know what a
Maybe
good one is? If you
what
want bang for your buck, Vermont, because they always make the NCAA tournament.
they do.
So that I think that's a good one. One of those low major programs that always makes the NCAA tournament.
I'm looking up a picture of the Vermont Catamount mascot right now here on my, my other monitor. Really big fan of mascots that are wearing jerseys. Not when it's like the Kansas State kind of creepy thing where it's just like a regular dude and then like the big head, but the Catamount mascot looks like it would give a good hug. That may be something worth kind of asking about. Colin says like
Interesting note there from
yeah,
Colin.
the Rocky, the South Florida mascot, $6,000 a pop, and they're behind. There can't be that many companies that make these things. Like you can't just go to Joanne Fabric and like make your own unless you're Stanford, where the thing looks like it's held together with duct tape and drugs.
I believe actually RIP Joanne Fabrics. I believe the whole chain closed.
You're right. It's a bummer. We've got a bunch of crafty people here in our house, and now there's not as many easy places to buy sewing machine stuff. RIP. We'll make a note here in the office Trello board. Like, ask Vermont how much it would cost to be the presenting sponsor. Maybe I'll call back up American. I did part of my undergrad at American. We keep it in the Patriot League. Claude D. Eagle is real, and that might be fun if it's not a ton of money. We can't afford Brutus. No, or the Toledo mascots, unless they would let us sponsor one of like the ones they don't use anymore. I'm sure Kyle's seen this. Have any of you other guys seen what the older versions of the Toledo Rocket looked like?
You got to take your safe search off your computer.
First open up incognito mode on your browser. And fire one of those up. They are some of the very funniest vintage mascots